Hey guys, my name is Alec Satterly. Today I'm about to take my assessment number two. In the video, we're going to be going over me providing feedback, making projections, and asking questions based on this UX and UI design mockup. Um, this design is supposed to be for a client who's looking for a form and template builder for reporting purposes. They asked us to go ahead and create and expand on an existing product to allow people across the company to create upwards of thousands of different templates. So let's get started.
Hello and welcome to Citrusbite product concept presentation. This product concept focuses on a PMO retail report system, and this presentation specifically focuses on the report template editor within the system. The holistic goal of retail report is to assist retail organization with communicating project updates more efficiently within the division.
Okay, I'm going to stop here. So the first thing I know, from a user slash product perspective is that the customer wants the ability to allow the end user to come in, take a different template, and create reports off of that, or they will create new templates for reporting purposes. So if I'm a brand new user logging in for the first time, I'm assuming this is going to be the main, dashboard I'm going to land on. The first thing I'm a little caught off guard about is the milestone. I'm not really sure what that means. The next thing is I don't understand what vendor, external vendor program means or integration care. Is that a team? Is that a project? Or is that a template itself? So that's something I'm not very clear about. There needs to be some more context around clarity for what the call of action is and what I'm supposed to be doing when I land here. Um, some other thing is I like the fact that it said, when the last time something was edited. So if I'm assuming this is a template, project number one, and somebody created something in there today, and somebody went ahead and updated it, I'm assuming this is the timestamp. So I think that's a pretty good concept there. As far as the project manager, I'm a little confused if that means if the project manager is the person that creates the template. Is it the last person that edit the template, or is it really the project manager of a team or a project going on within the company? So there's not much clarity around that. Um, in my guess is, or my suggestion is that it should be whoever edited it last. So you have the timestamp, and if Mike's the last person to edit the template, his name should be there. The next thing is I need one more clarification on is the completion date. So it said to be announced. I'm not really sure if it's like a project where, hey, there's a milestone needs to be completed by then. But if it's a template, you would think in theory that somebody would just do it in one sitting instead of constantly going back and forth with the same template. So I almost kind of think this is kind of useless from a user perspective. Okay, so the next thing is, let's go back to here and look a little bit more.
The system is intended to be a self-service, which means that a team representative should be able to create a template and set a permission for the team members to assist.
Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Um, so it sounds like teams have the ability to go in, create a template, and set permission for that template. There's nothing here to kind of explain that as far as how to actually get to that. There's no really call of action. Um, so my suggestion here is if I was going to completely do this in a different perspective, what I would do is break this up and take the file share approach from a design perspective. So the idea, the concept behind it is a folder within a folder within a folder. So that way it's scalable. So if you have thousands of templates and maybe hundreds of teams, there might be, sub teams and stuff like that. So the way I would do it is have different components. So let's say when you first land to here, you would have all the teams. And within a team, so let's say I'm in integration, I click on the integration team, I might have a sub team. So maybe I'm on the sign up integration sub team. I should be able to click on that, go into all my templates and reports that are available to me. I should be able to see all my global template and then I should be able to see all my private templates as well, those reports that I created for a management perspective of my team. So I should be able to see that, and it should be separated. It should also have the stuff, the good things that you like, which is, last time somebody edited that template, who's the last person that edited it. We should also have a owner stamp, so who actually created the initial template.
Now we will walk you through the template creation process. First off, we will navigate to the Reports template section from the drop-down.
I'm going to stop right here quick. So I see there's a little drop down up here. As a user for the first time looking at this, I would have not known that's a drop down. I would have thought I had to click up here in the header and click on the tab. So my suggestion is, if this is going to be an actual navigation bar here, they should be moved up into the header as the main navigation, because the header is typically static and stays in one spot, and it should always be there. The next thing I have to say is active report. I'm not very clear on what active means. Active report, is it reports that are currently being worked on? Is it reports that are available as far as like template? So I think we need to change the language here and kind of do a full copy review to kind of better suggest content that allows you to understand clearly what they're supposed to be doing and where they are in the app.
Templates are grouped by the team they belong to. Only the team can access the template. So from here, we can create a new template, or we can edit an existing one.
Okay, so I'm going to stop here again. So this makes a little more sense in the first page we first landed on. So here, it's pretty obvious that, okay, everybody is able to use these reports, the weekly report, monthly report. These are common reports across the company or the team that I have ability and access to use. Down here, it looks like a different team or different departments in the organization. So the project management team and members would actually go into here and click on the reports for that. Development support. So I think that's good. As far as team lead goes here in this column, I'm not 100% clear on what that means. My guess, just from looking at this is like maybe the manager of that team or the lead. I'm not really sure why that would be valuable to me as an end user. My thinking is, yeah, I would take this out completely, because it doesn't really matter who the team lead is in a single department, because team members change all the time. So I think that would end up creating more confusion. As far as the last edit update, the timestamp, it makes sense from a reporting perspective. So if somebody changed the template at some point in time, it's kind of good to know, okay, it was changed, a few hours ago. It was completely different than the template I used last week. So it prompts the user to go ahead and check the template to make sure it's up to date and it's the same as the last template they used. But I will remove it from the whole everybody column, like this section header here. It doesn't really make much sense. There's no clarity on, is it the last time somebody checked something in all these reports? Is it like a global setting? So that's something I would remove for clarity. The other thing I would do if I was going to completely take a stab at designing this, or maybe providing suggestion and feedback for the next iteration of this design, what I would do is break the whole screen in half. So the top half of the screen would be like the global templates that are available to you based on your permission level. So let's say I'm a manager and I need access to all the weekly, monthly, and quarterly reports. I should be able to see all of them on the top here. And maybe there's like a line that kind of breaks the screen in half. And I think we should take it away from the tab or this stack view. It should be more like a picture of
So
an
edit
actual.
the weekly report template.
It should be a picture of an actual document, and then it should have the name of the document, the title, and the last time it was edited. And then maybe you could also have an ownership timestamp on it, so who actually created the initial report. The reason why is because as a user, if I look at a report and I say, you know what, the organization changed since the report was last created. Maybe it was created 6 months ago, and today we added some new requirement. Maybe I want to add additional requirement to it. So maybe I would reach out to the report owner and ask them, hey, is it okay if I add additional columns and stuff? Um, that being said, for the bottom part of the screen, I break it up into different organizations or departments. So you would have like a box for the project management team, development team, support team, and then I could be able to click in that box, and it should be a lot like the file system approach I was talking about on the last screen, where the user could click on that, it should open up, and then it should allow me to go into another folder or me into another folder. So if my department, let's say, is really big, the project management organization, let's say I have a couple hundred, members in there, thousands of documents, I should be able to break it apart into different levels. Let's continue.
Now we are in the template editor, which use a 3-panel layout. The left panel is for report structure. This is very similar to layers panel in Sketch or Photoshop. The center panel is the canvas where we will be creating.
So I'm going to back up here real quick. Can I notice something? Okay, I'm going to stop right here. So originally we were on the page before with the teams and the different global templates that were in there. So now, since we clicked on that, now we're in the view, I think this is fine if you want to edit something, but as a user, if I was progressing into a template, I probably wouldn't want to see the editor screen right away. It's kind of hovered, I can't really see what kind of text fields they are. So what I would do is automatically direct users into the preview email screen. So that way I could jump right into it. I could actually see the live template. I could see what it looks like. Maybe I can interact with it a little bit and understand, hey, this is going to work for my current project or my reporting needs. And at that point in time, if I decide, okay, well, it's good, but I need to add a couple additional fields, I could then head over to the editor.
Now we are in the template editor, which use a 3-panel layout. The left panel is for report structure. This is very similar to layers panel in Sketch or Photoshop.
I think the layering here is a really great approach. A lot of the several tools out there, especially design tools, all use the layering concept. It gives you a lot more flexibility and freedom to really customize the reporting the way they need to do it. But it also gives them structure. So I really like the fact that we're giving them some options. So like we're saying, hey, you can have a text field for start date and end date. You could also make up your own text field. You also have data. So I think this is a really great structure here.
The center panel is the canvas where we will be creating and arranging report blocks. The right panel is the component inspector for adjusting the report block properties. Let's go ahead and change the current section name. We can see that section title now reads Project Overview across all 3 panels in the workspace. Notice the 12-column grid system in the center panel workspace. This grid makes it easier for user to arrange blocks. Right now, the new field takes up 12 columns of the grid. Maybe we only want it to take up 4. Let's select new field and components inspector, and now we can select 4 columns.
Okay, stop here. So I really like the whole column approach. Keep it simple. A lot of the time people struggle trying to align things up with being, especially in a form and making sure it's the right size and stuff like that. So, getting pixel perfect is just a great way to help users quickly build form. People maybe that are not artistic. So I really like that. One thing I noticed in here, I'm not seeing it, is picture. I know in the original requirement, the customer was asking for users to have the ability to add images, data, and stuff like that. So I'm not seeing the image stuff, so that's something we need to add in here. If I want to drop a picture at the top of my form, as like a banner to get people to fill out my form or something, I would like to have that ability. Um, the other thing is data. I know data is one of the requirement. Data means a lot of things to different people. Data could simply mean the due date and duration, or it can mean data as far as graph go. So that's something I probably want to get a little more clarity on from the customer themselves. Is what kind of data they're looking for? Is it graph? Is it report? Or is it simply just a text field that allows users to enter data?
Now we can see it has updated in our workspace. Let's also go ahead and change the field label and caption.
So another piece of suggestion here, we should allow users to be able to change the font size and the font type. Um, Reason why is because if they want something to stick out, like a header font versus a label font, or maybe they want to change the color. So, like for example, let's say it's a required field to have an email or a name. Well, maybe me as a user, I want to make that text red to kind of indicate this is the required field. So I would suggest adding additional tools in there and do that. And then also maybe adding a tool in there to make it a required field for someone to fill out. So like a tool that locks the form down and doesn't let the user to submit the form until they actually fill out all the correct fields.
As we can see, this has now updated. Next, we can add a new component to this section. To do this, we'll click Add Component button. As we can see, a new component appears and fills the remaining column space in the row. In our case, here it's 8 columns. We can also create a new section by clicking plus icon at the bottom. And we can continue adding components and sections in the same way.
So one thing here I would make the suggestion in doing, most users tend to use things that they're familiar with if they're going to go to something new. So what I would do here is instead of having the whole add component here and delete section, I would do is allow the user to drag and drop stuff. So if I come over here and I want to click on completion date field, I should be able to take that and drag it over and drop it anywhere I want within these columns. So let's say I drag it over, I make it so it's 3 columns wide. I should be able to drop it over here if I want and kind of change the layout. The reason why I might want to do that is because if I want to put something right here next to this section, I can't do that because it is in my way. So I think being too rigid is a bad thing, but having structure is a great thing.
Out of the editor, we can use the breadcrumbs at the top of the screen. All of the changes will be saved automatically, so we shouldn't be worried about our data. To check out the access rules for a report template and see who can access it, we'll go to the save.
So one piece of feedback here, I noticed we highlighted and we're apparently in the editor view, but we're not really editing here. So I think that's kind of contradicting what's actually happening and what we did before. So if we're going to call this, if it's supposed to be editor view, we should have all the tools displayed in the side here. What I'm looking at here is more like a preview. So what instead of calling it preview email, I'd probably call it preview in general, and then remove this other preview and just call it email. So if I'm sending out the email, I'm about to send it out to my team or my customers for them to fill out my report or my form. That would be where that sending goes.
Here we can view the users who have access to the template and update a bunch of the other settings. That's pretty much it for the demo. Thank you for.
This whole area here, I feel like this is something that should be put into either the editor slide or it should go in the email slide. So if I'm creating an email and I wanted to define who am I sending it out to, what kind of users have access to it, what countries, maybe what level of the program that they're in to get have access to it. So I always try to combine the settings screen with the email screen. Really just to simplify as much as I can the whole UX experience. Typically, simpler, less screen are typically a better, the safest and the best route to go. But also keeping it in a point where it's structured and it makes sense from a user perspective.
For attention.
Okay, so we're at the end here. Overall, I think there's some good things about this design, but I definitely think there's some additional working to be done. So I think this is a great starting point for a demo, but we need to go back and iterate and clean up some stuff. I really think it's just a matter of a flow issue and where we actually have things played. So if we could go back and kind of simplify some of the things, make some of the changes and suggestions that I've made throughout the video, I think it should be a great app, and I think it would meet the requirements of the customer. Thank you. Bye.